Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Where's Fielder? He's gone to the dogs.
Welcome, friends, once again to the Gone to the Dogs podcast. Steve Fielder here with you. This week is an important week for me because I'm going to take a week's vacation. And guess what I'm going to be doing on vacation? That's right, as little as I possibly can. Actually, I'm going up to Pennsylvania, the great state of Pennsylvania, the second state of the Union. And going up there to my friend Randy Smith's. I'm going to hunt with he and his son Troy. And going to hunt a couple of nights with Clayton Stark Outdoors. I call him the producer. So, got a good week coming up. By the time this podcast airs, I will be enjoying all the outdoor activities there around in the southwest corner of the Keystone State with Randy. It's always a pleasure for me to go up there because, number one, he's just such a terrific host. He is set up the way I guess everybody would like to be set up, to have friends or family or whatever come in. He has a nice apartment there arranged up over his in his business, and it's on the floor that the office for his extermination business operates. But it's a great place for an old guy like me to hang out while I'm up there. And I know I'll eat way too much. He always has some great meals. In fact, I enjoy especially the meals that he cooks out over the open fire there. Randy, a couple of years ago, built a pavilion. I tell him it looks like a state park out of stone and a timber frame structure there. And he has an outdoor fire pit that's just way over the top. Builds a nice fire in there. It's got that swinging grate that goes over the fire. You can cook right there on the fire, on the fireplace if you want. And of course, he puts out some great breakfast meals there when the guys come in, and just a terrific host all the way around. The Smith family and I became acquainted back in 2016 when I went out to Greencastle, Indiana to judge the World Championship bench show at the UKC World Hunt. And that was the year that Randy and his handler Rick Strouser and his partner Tom Strang won the UKC World Championship. I think Dale Montgomery also was a partnership on the dog, Lone Pine Biffy Sue. And that was an enjoyable time, and I spent quite a bit of time talking to those fellas there in Greencastle. And one thing led to another, and I accepted an invite to come up, and I've been going back every chance I get since then. I think it was up there in April of this year. So anyway, that's really looking forward to that. Pennsylvania is a pro-hunting state, although sometimes I shake my head at their politics. But I noticed that there are 13 million people in the state of Pennsylvania, and they sell 845,000 hunting licenses. So there's a lot of hunting that goes on all across the state of Pennsylvania. And one of my regulars on this podcast, and I hope to get hold of him later today because I want to include a conversation with him, is the Redbone Man, Fred Moran, now in his 80s and still enjoying coon hunting. The last time I talked to Fred, he was a little under the weather, dealing with some issues. So I'm looking forward to catching up with him. But as I'm up there at Randy Smith's, Clayton Stark, as I mentioned, will be coming over to hunt a couple of nights. Randy and Clayton have worked out some kind of an arrangement where Clayton's been starting some young dogs for Randy and hunting them. As you know, if you follow social media, Randy sent the false prophet dog over, the dog out of Frogger, and Biffy Sue, and got him off to a terrific start. And then Clayton more recently has been hunting a female for Randy called Downline. I don't know where those names come from, but it comes from the sire of the dog, and I just now forgot what his name is. Oh, well, friends, this old age is not for sissies, I can tell you. I know it'll come to me in just a minute. But at any rate, I don't know what those guys have got planned. I'm sure Clayton will probably do a little filming while he's there. He really does a great job with his outdoor videos, and I know that if you're a member of his Patreon system there or program, that you get a lot of videos that cheapskates like me don't get. I should be contributing to Clayton, and I hope to in the future. But at any rate, I'm getting a call right now, and I think it's from Fred Moran. Let's see what we got. Fred Moran, the Redbone Man. You weren't feeling really well the last time we spoke. How are you doing?
Don't let the voice fool you. I was at the doctor's, kidney doctor Tuesday. I got to go to a prostate doctor next Thursday, and I've got problems. I've been hunting. I went hunting Tuesday night. That girl that goes with me, that blonde, she went with me, and we went out. We had a good hunt.
Let me break in here. Every guy that's your age, what is it, 80 what now?
87. That's what the doctor told me.
At 87, every coon hunter ought to have a blonde to go with him to help him with.
The best part about it, I got two blondes and a brunette.
Oh,
all three
man.
like to go coon hunting.
Oh, boy.
This in here, though, she can't find a coon. I'll tell you what, she needs a pair of pop bottle glasses because she sure can't find them. Every once in a while, she'll find about every 25 coons, she'll find one ahead of me. But
she gets that
she
one.
Had her light, I went back to the truck and drove the truck. I knew I could see it from the road if it looked. And she's right under the tree with the dog, and she got her light on the coon, but she never sees it. And when I hollered to her, I said, "Bring the dog and come on out." She brought the dog to the road. I said, "You see that coon?" She says, "No." I looked all over and I couldn't see it. I said, "You had your light right on it."
Yeah.
I said, "Wait a minute, I'll make it look again." And I squalled again from the truck. She said, "I see it, I see it." I said, "You should have seen it when you was right under the tree." But she just enjoys going, and she thinks that's something when she sees them. And,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like the time that at the St. Jude hunt that we took the chairman of the board of American Kennel Club on his first coon hunt. This guy's from New York.
What did he say?
We treated a coon. The first coon we treated, Mike Creasy, was our guide, and Mike's the mayor of Parsons down there now. But and his father, McNeil Creasy, I don't know if you ever met him, but long time coon hunter.
No, I've seen their names.
Yeah. And anyway, this coon was like, I want to be on TV. I want to get my picture taken. He was right up there on a limb that everybody. But do you know that he's like your friend there? We never did get him to acknowledge that he saw that coon. And it was so frustrating. We said, right there. And we all had our lights on it. It was like he was sitting on the top of a flagpole right out here in my yard, But, oh, well, I guess you got to develop an eye for it,
This girl that's blonde now, she's getting better. She finds one out of every 20. But anyhow, the first time she went coon hunting with me... It's
about like the judges I've had down through the years.
She was... I'd see her in the field every evening when I'd go on this dirt road. I used to go there shoot groundhogs. And every time I go on the road, I'd see her sitting way in the corner of the field and that. And finally, I waited one day. I watched her walking toward the road where her car was. I said, what are you doing up there all the time? I see you in that field. She says, a deer come out when it gets dark. I love to see them deer. I said, do you really like seeing them? I says, I see them all the time when I'm coon hunting. She said, oh, you're Moran. I said, yep. She says, I'd like to go coon hunting sometime. I says, I go every night. I said, be at my house at 7 o'clock. Bring a flashlight so you can walk with it. She was there 7 o'clock, and listen to this. She's in shorts. I said, where are you going? She says, you told me to come here 7 o'clock. I says, yeah, but I said I should have told you be prepared. You can't hunt in them. Your legs will get tore up from briars and that. You'll be crying in no time at all. I says, run home. She only lived about 10 blocks away. I said, run home and get yourself a pair of jeans or something like that. So she came back and she had jeans on. And the very first coon we treated in the middle of a briar patch. And I says, here's the leash, Ace. Go get him. And she got in there, and I could hear her cussing in there and everything else. And we couldn't find that coon. I looked and looked, couldn't find. We did see one on the next street. But anyhow, she said, boy, that's rough. I'm sure glad I went home and got jeans on. She says, I've been all scratched up. Well, she learned there. And but she likes to go. She enjoys it.
Usually when you take someone like that that's never been before, it's either one and done or they really like it and they want to go back, But there's some people that one's enough.
Well, she'll call me at different times, say, you going to go tonight? I said, if it gets dark. And she'll be, what time you want me up there? I said, 7 o'clock, 7:30. So, but she likes to go, and she's getting better at it, though. And I only have one dog, and I call her Lulu. And she says, Lulu did good tonight. I says, yeah. I said, it's about time. I says, we get a good night out of her.
Well, I was just kind of talking to my audience there before you called in, because when I tried to call you earlier, I said, well, maybe I'll catch him in a little while, but I'm going to go ahead and get this party started. And I was talking about I'm heading up tomorrow morning. I'll be on an Allegiant jet flying into Pittsburgh and going to spend the week next week hunting with Randy with Randy Smith.
Oh, okay.
And Troy, and then Clayton Stark from over in Ohio is going to come over. I think it's going to be there this weekend. But maybe, I don't know what the plan is. Hopefully, I might be able to.
Maybe Trump will come back to give another speech. He's only he's within 20 miles of Randy's place.
That's right. My wife and I stayed in
Butler.
Butler, yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Right. I heard of Butler for years and years when I was with UKC about, the club there and all.
But Butler Club was the first club that ever put a licensed night hunt on. Dick Crowell was a guy.
I remember him. Him.
He was from Prospect, Pennsylvania, and if it wasn't for him, they'd never heard of a night hunt. He put the first night hunt on, and he called me up. I used to write a few stories back then. I was only about 16 in that. And he thought that I was some sort of celebrity because I got some publications printed in full cry and that. He said, how about coming to our hunt? I says, I can. I already made arrangements, but I'll be at the next one you have. Well, I figure I ain't going up there and enter a dog, and I don't know the first darn thing about it, how they run them and that. I figure I'll go as a spectator the first time and just see what they're like. Yeah. And after I did, I thought, oh, hell, there ain't nothing to this. You just call your dog when it opens up, and you call it when it's treated. And I remember, and I know you heard of this guy, Vinny Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
He drove all the way down
from
him and two
up in New England, somewhere up there.
Yeah, Connecticut.
Yeah.
He drove all the way down with two buddies and to enter in the night hunt at Butler, Pennsylvania. Well, it was at Prospect, Pennsylvania, which is about 8-10 miles from Butler. And I went out on his calves, and I forget who won it, but naturally we had a winner, and I enjoyed it and everything. And next hunt I went to, I took a dog and entered, and I won 5th place, I think.
All right.
So I was happy. I had that shiny trophy and everything else.
Well, what a legacy that began right there, Fred. Who would have thought all these years? Amazing number of years. And, there's no way to tell how far you've traveled in your lifetime.
When about 4 years ago, I had a big house, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath. My wife had passed away. I figured I don't need this big house. My kid told me move out by him. He says he'll buy that property next to him and put a tin can there. That's good enough for me for what time I got left. I said, I agreed with him. I said, oh, that's fine with me. I'll put that. You and the 2 daughters could fight over my money when I bite the dust. And so that's just what I did. But anyhow, I moved about 12 miles from where I used to live. And it's good coon hunting here. Woods right in back of the house. There's 400 and some acres. They just hit a bear with a car about 2 weeks ago right by my house.
Now, how'd that hunt go with Vinny? You were telling me about that hunt with Vinny Orlando, weren't you? Or did you finish
anyhow, that? I don't remember. For some reason or other, and they wouldn't split them up, all 3 of them drawed out together plus the 4th guy. And I believe a guy named Carl Calkins that came with Vinny, I think he won it with his dog. I don't remember.
Now, Vinny was a blue tick man, wasn't he?
He preferred blue ticks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I sold him a couple blue ticks, but we became friends and we corresponded together all the time and that.
He used to write for the magazines too.
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. That's how I met him. Mm-hmm. I decided to write him a letter, because he wrote columns all the time, and I figured introduce myself. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to Connecticut sometime and hunt with him.
Yeah,
Well, I have hunted in Connecticut, but not with him. And but he was a nice guy. He was okay. They had I still remember to this day, they had 10 registered dogs in that. At that time, you hardly heard of a registered dog, but they had around 30-some grade dogs. I think 38, if I'm not mistaken. And the hunt, they didn't have a clubhouse. They had it under picnic pavilion, and they had fires in barrels to keep warm. It was in March, and it was cold. I mean, in fact, if I remember right, there was even snow in certain spots in the woods. It was melting, but there were still snow patches. But we treed coon, and I enjoyed it. And like I say, they caught on from there on. Dick Crowell he was a promoter.
Oh yeah,
he was big in NCA at the time, or the National Coon Hound Association. And I went with him to a meeting in Ohio one time, and at that time Dick Sheets was big into that, and he more or less got the ball rolling on that sort of stuff. But
Dick worked for the AKC when they first bought out the ACHA, and Crowell, I believe at one time, was he not a field rep for UKC way back there, maybe?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Oh, well, Dick Sheets was.
Oh, well, Dick was with ACHA, but I mean with UKC.
Dick later went to AKC.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I knew he had some kind of a connection there to the hunts and all. Well,
he lived right out of Columbus, Ohio. I can't think of the town, but it's only about 10 miles from Columbus.
Well, this is getting back to my early days. I was a field rep in '78, and so for a lot of people that's a long time ago, but that's over 50 years.
Yeah.
So 50 years goes by in a snap.
I remember that was 1956 is the year that first hunt was.
Oh, okay. Now that may have been the UKC first one.
No, that was NCA.
Oh,
Eddie Ross got them guys talked into starting an organization called National Coon Hound Association.
Right.
And then the boys in Ohio, if Eddie says jump, they jumped. They listened to him, and he had a good following in Ohio.
Now, he started, excuse me, Fred, but he started that mountain music hunt there in Pennsylvania, didn't he?
I went to two of them. I went clear to Texas to one, Marshall, Texas. That was a trip and a half. Two English guys went with me. I was writing a column in, and I says I wouldn't mind going to Texas, but that's a long trip, and I ain't going myself. Well, they called me up and asked. They said we'll go. We'll split the gas and everything. So Dick, one boy's name. They were well known. I can't think of their name.
Let me throw a name at you, and let me see if that was it, because I think he was an Englishman. Was it Walt Raffle?
No, Walt Raffle was here in Pennsylvania. Walt died about 2 years ago. He was up in the age. No, he wasn't. He wasn't big into that. These guys were from Ohio. One boy's name was Dan. They were followers of Bert O'Neill at the time.
I got you.
Bert got them into English dogs.
I see. Yeah.
And so we went. I never forget. We hit snow in Kentucky, and they said that was the biggest snowfall in Kentucky ever had. We got tied up over 10 hours in Kentucky. After we got through there, we were okay.
Well, you mentioned snow in March. The first RQE that UKC sent me to work when I became a field rep was up in Jefferson, New York, in the Catskill Mountains there. And it snowed that night. In fact, those boys hunted in a lot of snow. It began snowing during the bench show on Saturday, and then by the time the night hunt was drawn out, they had a lot of snow.
Anybody have any scores?
Yeah, they did tree some coon. They absolutely did. In fact, the fellow that Klein was his name that won the hunt that night later fell out of a tree and was confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. It didn't happen. It didn't happen on that hunt.
Right.
But yeah.
We had the same thing happen to a young boy not far from where I live right now. He fell out. He's never walked since, and he's same thing, wheelchair. He had a good walker dog, real good dog.
Mm-hmm.
I've run against it a couple times.
Yeah. I've harped on that before on a podcast about don't climb those trees. I did it. I think everybody probably has in their day, but it's just not worth the risk. One little slip and there you go. I remember Bobby Shive. Don't know if you ever met him down in North Carolina. Had a walker dog called Gold Hill Tom that he used to advertise in the magazines. He was in that wheelchair because of that same thing.
Well, that's the same thing that happened to this boy. He only lives, right now he only lives about 5 miles from me. I coon hunt not far from where he lives.
I see.
We had a deal yesterday. A guy called my kid. He hunts and fishes with him in the fish tournaments and that. My kid's big into bass tournaments. Anyhow, my kid came home from work early yesterday. He says, "Come on, we're going for a ride." I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "We're going to Somerset." That's about 40 miles from me. I said, "What are we going up there for?" He said, "Do you think that dog you got will run a bear?" I said, "I don't know. She never has." I said, "What are we up to now?" He says, "Kenny hit a bear last night with bow and arrows in for bear." And he was with him the day before. And he took his kid with him. They saw a bear, but they didn't get no shooting at it. And anyhow, this guy, the friend of his that fishes in a bass tournament, he stayed for another day or two, and he shot a bear right near dark. And he says the guts were coming out of it, but yet he ain't found the bear, and it got too dark, so he quit. He wanted Mike to come up and see if he could help and bring a dog, if at all possible, see if the dog could find it. I said, "I ain't guaranteeing that dog will open on that bear or not, but we'll try it." We went up there, and we left the dog in the truck, and we walked over to the edge of the field where the bear went into the woods. It was thick as hell. I said, "Well, if any place, he's going to be in the thickest spot here in this woods."
Yep.
And we could see blood stains from the night before on trees, and we found a big string of guts. I said, "He ain't going to last." I said, "I guarantee you're going to find him dead." So anyhow, they decided to just walk it further toward the creek and see if they... And we ran across it. We never needed the dog. We found the bear. He was about 225 pounds.
That's a nice bear.
So, he had a nice coat on him and everything. Mm-hmm. The guy, he's going to get a rug made out of it. He called the game warden because you got to tag him out here. Mm-hmm. And they even come to the place where you shot it to make sure it wasn't shot with something illegal. Right now it's in for bow and arrow.
Strictly bow. Yeah.
So, but it was something different. I killed bear. In fact, I treat bear with the dogs coon hunt here.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that some, and of course, my dad was a bear hunter. He was consumed with bear hunting. He loved it. And not so much the kill, but he just loved to chase them and see them up a tree. I got
a good friend in West Virginia that That's all he did was bear hunting. He's bear crazy. Johnny Kuntz, he lives in Petersburg, West Virginia.
Oh, yeah, in the Panhandle over there on the east. Oh, it's funny. These hillbillies are everywhere. I was born and raised in West Virginia, and I've got a plot puppy here at home. This fever dog that we've been hunting. My buddy Mark Miller down in North Carolina. We got him all finished out. All these grand night, grand show, grand water, grand field. So, and Mark's been kind of down. He's got a pinched nerve in his back and hasn't been able to hunt here lately. But anyway, we had some females that were bred to fever back in July, and I decided to get one of those pups. So yesterday I needed to take him into the vet to get his final shot. And these boarding kennels down here, Fred, they won't take you in unless you've got that Bordetella shot, which is a kennel cough thing. Yeah. And he's not old. This pup's only about 12, 13 weeks old. Not old enough for rabies yet and all. But I go in there, and of course I take him in the lobby, and somebody's got a cat in a little cage there. And this pup's going to have a horn on him, man. I mean, and he lets out a few of those big long balls, and all the girls come out in the lobby. Oh,
yeah,
so
what's
cute.
happening?
Yeah.
He's eating that cat up or something.
But anyway, so when I go in there and we go through the preliminary stuff, weighing him and this and that, the doctor comes in, and I hadn't seen this vet before. And he's like, oh, that's a plot hound, huh? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, do you coon hunt with this dog? I said, well, I hope to. That's why I've got him. And started talking about him. He said, oh, I used to go coon hunting back in West Virginia. And I said, no way.
Long time.
And he was from up around Parkersburg there on the Ohio River. And I told him where I was from, and he said, well, I know the vets there. And it's a funny story. So I said, well, did you know Dr. Hale and Dr. Freeland and Dr. Perry? Oh, yeah, I knew. Of course, I thought, well, man, this guy seems young. Well, he wasn't young, but he was younger, quite a bit younger than I am. But anyway, and then I said, yeah, and then my dad started going over to Fayetteville to a vet over there, and I can't think of his name. He said, Dr. Swank, and I said, that's him. So we had like an old home week there.
Yeah, I was going to say an old homecoming.
Yeah, and he told me a funny story that this Dr. Swank told him. He said he would go up and work that Iditarod sled dog race every year in Alaska. And I knew that he did. In fact, I went to that vet too when I lived in West Virginia. But he would be up there, and they had to inspect the dogs and all before they could go in the race. And one of the things they had to do was inspect that they had a microchip in them. I guess they figured if something happened or a dog got away, or I don't know why, but the rule is they had to be microchipped. So he said and it was this gal. What was her name that won the Iditarod? Butcher. Janet Butcher, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Was it Janet?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was
name.
Janet, but it was Butcher, right? And he said... Go ahead. I'm sorry, Fred.
If I'd have dated her, I'd have got her first name, but I just knew the last.
Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, the funny story was he checked all these dogs, and was one he couldn't find the chip. And he told this vet, Mike, he said, I looked all over. I couldn't find the chip on that dog. And I told her, I said, ma'am, this dog's got to have a chip or it can't run. And he said that she got real close from the tip of his nose and looked him in the eye and said, you're going to find that chip or you're never going to work another one of these races again. And anyway, they did find the chip, and it kind of migrated down into the leg.
They move around a lot of times.
Yeah, but I thought that was kind of humorous. But yeah,
that girl that hunted with me last night, she told me she got 3 Chihuahua. She says, "Guess what I paid to get a tooth pulled?" I says, "I don't know. Undoubtedly it's high, or you wouldn't have brought it up." I said, "Probably $300." She says, "Try 600."
Oh no! To pull a
ridiculous.
Tooth on a dog?
On a Chihuahua, $600. I said, "I'd switch vets real quick on that deal."
Good pair of pliers.
She used to work for a vet, and she told her, "Give me a pair of pliers," and I think it was called Calzazine or something like that. She said, "I'll knock them out and pull them myself," but now she wouldn't do it.
It wouldn't go for that. Oh, that's crazy. I call them poodle vets, and that's all we have down here. Well, but this guy seemed to be down to earth. It's refreshing to see that. But it's funny how small this world is.
Oh yeah. I had a dog. I was down Glasgow, Kentucky at a night hunt one time, and I went to town with a guy. He wanted to show me something that his dog's down there. He didn't live far away. And the boy that was with me, we went in that guy's truck. The boy that was with me, Johnny Chilzer, he's dead now.
I remember John very well.
He come looking for me. He had an idea where I was. He says, "Your dog's got in a fight." I says, "How could they get in a fight? They're chained in the barn there and separate." He says the dog food somehow spilled over and they got in a fight over it. And naturally the best dog got the worst of it. He said, you're probably going to need some stitches. Well, I went to a vet in Glasgow, Kentucky. I still got his card. I can't remember his name. He's dead now because I know a person that went to him down there. Mm-hmm. And we started talking shop and that. I said, I worked for a vet for 2 years when I got out of high school. And I noticed he had some medication up on the shelf. I says, "Hey, Doc, isn't that succulent chloride?" He says, "Yeah, how do you know that?" I says, "I use the same thing to euthanize dogs." I says, "It isn't legal for me to have it, but my vet sells it to me because he knows what I'm going to use it for when I was in the dog control business." And he said, "That's amazing." He said, "Nobody would even know what that is." He told me he bought all his. He didn't buy it through no veterinarian agency or anything. He went clear to New Mexico and bought his. And he'd bring it up, and his was a little different. Mine was already pre-mixed. His, he had to mix with water. And but he told me he never found anything euthanized a dog quicker or less pain or anything else like that. I put a demonstration on one time at a Humane Society because they were thinking about switching medicine. I says, count to 10. And don't count fast. Just count 1, 2, 3. When they counted to 6, the dog I give a shot to was dead. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't get over that.
Yeah.
And
it's very humane. We all think about it, and I've had some good dogs at first when I would take them to the vet to have them put down. I couldn't go in and stay with them. But the last time or two, I bet the bullet and went in and was there and telling them what a good dog they were, as they went out. But it's a very humane thing. I mean, the injection in the leg, the front leg there, usually they have a port that they put in there, and so the dog's not in pain. But that's a part of having dogs. That's the tough part.
You get attached to them, and it don't go away.
Yeah, that's for
10 years from now, you're still talking about old Blue.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And people that aren't dog people, And there's a difference, I have to contend, I always down through the years, contend with people that weren't dog people that were trying to enforce ridiculous impositions on dog owners, and that's one of the things we worked with. But I even here in my local homeowners association, every once in a while they'll have a public meeting and they'll have some lawyer there that says, well, you need to ban this breed and that breed and this breed in here because they're dangerous. And I always get up and give them a load. Man,
pit bulls, no pit bulls.
No Dobermans, no German Shepherds, no Rottweilers. Yeah. On and on. But anyway, I've gotten into that one time before. I'll get off my stump. Well, listen, what about, it's been real dry over where Randy is. Is it that way where you're hunting?
We had rain last night. As soon as I come in from hunting around, I came back around 11:15, and as soon as I got home, it started pouring down. Didn't rain long, but it rained pretty good. Yeah. It was heavy, and we've had rain at least. Maybe he's a little drier up where he's at, but he's only about, I'd say, 65 miles from me at the most.
Okay.
And he's straight north of me. And like I say, but we've had rain at least once or twice a week lately.
Yeah. Well, he sends me videos of the hunts, on a pretty regular basis when he's out there. And I got one of these new Garmin trackers. It's called a LTE. It runs through your cell phone, and you just put it on the dog's collar. There's no antenna to, I imagine. It just strictly works off the cell phone. And I can sit here in Florida and watch him hunting up there in Pennsylvania, track the dog on the screen just like I can with the Garmin, and he'll send me these videos. And I noticed the other night, I said, man, it looks like it's what we call spitting snow up there. That dust was so heavy in the woods. And he said, oh, it's been bone dry. But then last night he said that they did get a rain. Must have been, about the time you did.
Yeah, so. I came back, like I say, about 11:15, and it started. Well, it rained a little bit in the woods, but not enough to even worry about. I said, I told Blondie, I said, this ain't bad. We can tough this out. So, but when we quit, that's when it got bad, and so we didn't get too wet.
Well, how is you? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting.
In fact, we didn't get wet. I made it home, and then it poured down.
Yeah.
But
how's your foliage? Are the leaves coming off pretty good?
Yeah, they're coming off, but there's still plenty. Still plenty.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell Randy, if it's there, he'll find it.
That's right. Well, he cheats. He's got that thermal scope, In fact, the first one of those things, I had seen them for night vision, like a military type thing. But and the first one of those heat seekers that I saw was up there hunting with him, and he was, we'd already seen. I knew where the coon was. So then when I looked through that scope, I said, man, that's a pretty neat deal, that heat signature.
There's no question they work, but I'm willing to bet most guys that I'll find it just as quick as their machine will.
Yeah, well, probably so.
But if you're a big-time night hunter and that, I guess that's a thing to have.
Yeah. The biggest value I would think about
this one that you explained that he just got. Who makes it?
Well, the first one that he had that he showed me was a Pulsar, I think, and he told me, he said, I think this is the best one. I'm going to think that one was somewhere around $3,000, but they've got a lot of them.
Wow.
Yeah, they've got a lot of them out now, the AG1s, I think they're called,
There's
that
a boy
run
near me.
12 to
There's a boy near
1500.
me that sells. It ain't a Garmin. I forget what kind it is, and it does work. It does work. But I'm going to tell him what this would cost, and because he always tells me, "I'll give you a good deal. I'll give you." I said, "I don't need." I said, "I got an old Garmin." I said, "It works good enough for me." So
Yeah.
but,
Well, I don't hunt enough anymore, Fred. Like the vet I met this week was asking me about, do I hunt down here? And I said, well, not in the summertime. I don't even attempt it anymore. Now, when I first moved down, I did. I hunted summer, went right on. But it's so stinking hot that I just couldn't enjoy it,
hey,
And,
but I excuse me, man.
No,
Let me
go
interject just while I think of it. My kid goes, he started going, he loves fishing. He goes to bass tournaments all over the country and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And he makes some money at it. That ain't what he does for a living, though. He works,
Yeah.
wouldn't do he's a bricklayer. And he owns a business, but that's too hard of work for me. I don't want no part of it. But anyhow, he went to Florida this is along the coast. Some kind of West, Key West, maybe it is.
Yeah, he probably
I don't-
went down to the Keys
He went down there for
Marathon,
2
maybe.
2 months. He told me there's 1 million coon there. He said they live in the mangroves.
Yes.
He says the game commission put them in there to kill some kind of lizards that are all over the place. He said they put them coons in there to kill them lizards. He says, you'll see coons everywhere.
Well,
I've been in Florida, and I coon hunted in Florida, but I never coon hunted the part where he went.
Well, I'm on the West Coast over here. Of course, this Hurricane Helene came through, and then Milton, the last one that we had. But so I'm actually only about.
Did you get any bad damage?
No, not at all. I live
You're
up on
lucky.
I live up on a ridge, so flooding is very. I guess if I get flooded up here, I might as well call Noah with the ark to get me out. But anyway, but I have a kayak, and I go out in the Gulf. Now I don't go out miles into deep water, but I fish along the shores in the mangrove thickets or groves and all, and I see a lot of coon in the daytime. On the low tide, they're out there catching crabs and things.
Well, Mike tells me, that's my kid, he tells me ain't nothing see 20, 25 coon a day in the daytime.
Yeah, I'm sure they have more down there. He's going down there in the Keys. I don't know if he's fishing at Marathon or going on down as far as Key West, but yeah, there's a lot of coon in places in Florida. Now, here where we hunt, we're in the interior. We hunt, you'd have to say, pretty much along the corridor of Interstate 75 that runs north and south, and mainly ranches, cattle ranches. And they have these cypress heads, they call them, where the water kind of stands in there at times. But that's
How
usually.
many years you been in Florida?
I came down here permanently in about 2012. I retired in 2011. It's kind of.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. I met a guy at the Grand American. He was a veterinarian. He was in my cast. I think his name was Heminger.
Yeah, Doc Heminger. Yeah, he was from up around Ocala, up there at the Citra Club. Oh, yeah, yes.
And he says, hey, Redbone Man. He said, where are you going from here, home? I said, no, I brought my wife, which I normally don't do, and I brought my kids. I said, we're going to Disneyland after this. He says, well, where are you staying at? I said, my uncle gave me a name of a motel in Kissimmee, Florida.
Yeah.
I said, and I was going to get a room there. He said, you ain't going to get a room. They'll be all filled up. Here's the keys to my house. You stay at my place. That's the kind of guy he was.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I won't be there for 3 days. He said, but me and you go coon hunting after I get down there. So we had his whole house to ourselves, and I thought, I can't sit here at night. I got to go coon hunting. I figured I'd go out in the truck and drive some back roads, orange groves, and they tell me that's where the coons are. I'll find a coon. I went there and I hit one orange grove. I never struck a track. And when I come and quitting, I was going to go look for another place. Here, a guy pulls up in an old junker car, remind me of Packing Mobile, and I'm sure you've seen one of them. And he opened the trunk, and I guess at least 5 dogs come out of there. He had a young girl with him, about 16 years old, and I figured he was about 50. And I said, what are you going to do? He says, get some possums and coons. And I sat there in my truck for about a half hour. I just wanted to see if his dogs opened, but they never opened while I was there. But I thought of that a million times. I wonder if I ever got anything that night.
Well, that was like a trip I went home, I think it was at Thanksgiving time from college with a boy from Mississippi. And he was a farm kid, and he was not a coon hunter, but he loved to hunt anything. And he said, well, we'll go coon hunting. I know some guys around here that are coon hunters. They're big coon hunters. Well, it was that same kind of deal. You know, they must have had 8 or 10 guys, and they were all out there, and they turned loose all. I mean, I don't know how many dogs they had loose. And I think they had maybe one that would tree and one that would maybe run a coon. And the rest were just...
dogs. Just dogs.
Yeah. And that's kind of funny there. But, well, the thing about the orange grove, Fred, you have to be here in the wintertime when the oranges are ripe. See, the coons eat those oranges.
Well, that
they
was
love
wintertime.
them.
Grand Americans, January.
Well, you would think then. You would think. Just must have been a bad night because I've hunted the orange groves and used to, even since I've moved down here with a fella that had access to a huge grove. And we treat a lot of coons in there, for sure. Had some good races, too. But it's a different world for sure. Well, what about your hunting here lately? What have you had any good hunts?
Well, I only got one dog. It's lonely out there with just one dog. I try to buy. I know with 2 decent dogs that I would like to pull with, and I tried to buy them a couple times. The guy priced the one to me, then he changed his mind. He said, "Nah." He said, "Then I'll be looking." So. But a guy called me out of the blue just about, 5-6 days ago. I haven't heard from him in years. He's down in Kentucky. And he said, "Moran, I got a dog for you." And naturally, it's the greatest dog in the state of Kentucky. He tries to get your mouth watered and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, I called a guy that lives near him. I know he hunts with him. Okay. I said, "How good is that dog?" He said, "Well, she ain't bad, Fred." He says, "But she had something wrong with her voice. She had a heck of a mouth. She don't have that mouth anymore." I said, "Did he take it to a vet? Because I know he's a little tight on that." He says, "Yeah, he did take it to a vet. The vet couldn't find nothing wrong." He said, "But I had it with it again about a week ago. And the voice is coming back a little bit. Not like it used to be, but it's coming back. So I don't know what's wrong with the dog. I'm going down that way on the 15th to deer hunt in Indiana.
Yeah.
And it ain't that awful far from him. I'm going to stop by and go hunting for an hour or 2. I'll know whether I want it or not.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll go from there. But like I say, dogs... I've never seen, usually on a Sunday I get 4 or 5 calls, somebody either trying to sell me one or buy one. And it ain't like that anymore. I ain't getting the calls I used to get.
I don't think there's that much traffic, or it's on the internet. if there is.
No
you know.
desire like there once was.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
let me
tell
ask.
you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And I'll finish up, and I've got a question.
You remember years ago, how you was in the magazines all the time too. Guys like Fairbanks from Arkansas, Ed Ferguson, all them that have a quarter page or a half page ad every month, and people they were ain't going to living off of dogs. It ain't like that anymore. Believe me.
No. Well, okay. One thing I want to ask you, and each time we talk, you talk about that you found a dog here or there, and that you bought a dog and you sold a dog. So I know that you have bought and sold a lot of dogs over the years.
Quite a few.
I know that
I
you're
wish
not
I knew how many.
Yeah, I know you're not what we call a dog jockey. You don't keep a big like Cass Walker, keep a barn full of dogs there to sell. You seem to kind of deal in a better class of dog. I want to know, having grown up the way I did and with our dogs and raising them themselves, I always kind of wanted to breed and raise and train my own dog. Now, you, on the other hand, have seemingly found enjoyment out of having a good dog, and it didn't matter much who raised him or trained him or whatever. How does that? I mean, I know you had some stud dogs.
You get more satisfaction if you say you raised that dog. He was out of some of your dogs. You definitely get more satisfaction saying, I had his mother, I had his dad, and all that. And to me, but I'll buy from anybody as far as that goes if the dog's the right kind of dog. There's an old saying: if you don't know the dog, you better know the man.
That's right.
And that's nothing's more truer in coon dogs than that statement there.
Yep.
And like I say, I bought dogs that I never expected to be worth a damn, and by darn, they turned out pretty good. And then I bought one of the highest priced dogs I ever bought. He won a lot of hunts, and I still to this day wonder how he won the first one. And I give a big price for him. In fact, me and Claude Miller, he's dead now.
Yeah.
We went in partners and bought them together, and I didn't like the dog at all. He was a ripoff as far as that goes. And I sold him to a guy. Hey, you make some money on some you lose some. Well, I lost a good bit of money, so did Claude on this. And I sold him to a guy, and he says to me, he said, "Is he straight?" And the guy didn't have all the money. He had maybe all the money, but maybe $150 on him. He says, "Is he straight?" I says, "And one thing about him, he is straight. He ain't gonna bother no kind of junk whatsoever." And so I said, "If he ain't straight, you don't owe me that other $150." Well, I never heard from the guy. I run into him one time about 6-7 months later. I said, "Hey, where's my other part of that money for that dog?" He says, "You told me if he wasn't straight, I didn't have to pay you." That dog run a fox on me one night. I'm not saying he didn't, but he never did. I had him with anything and everything. And one thing, he was straight. He wasn't much of a coon dog, but he was straight. So, but you never know.
Well, you give some mighty good advice there to anybody that's listening that wants to go. And I start seeing on Facebook and on social media little requests every once in a while popping up, guys wanting to buy a dog, wants it to be this and that and all. But man, that's a slippery slope out there. I'd have to go hunting with that dog myself before. Like you said, though, if you called me, Fred, and said, "Hey, there's a plot up here, Steve. He's the right kind. I would buy that dog on your word because I trust you. I know what you know." But for the most part, guys,
try it before you buy it.
Absolutely.
Do you tell Randy that Walker pup he sold down here to Fisher guy? He's a state trooper. He might pull you over while you're hunting up there. He's a state trooper up here. And he was down here hunting with Bill Lash about 2 months ago. That dog's a nice dog. He can be proud of that dog. He won 8 hunts in a row with him and make him a night champion and a couple wins toward Grant before he finally lost the calf. But he's got everything going for him. He goes hunting. He's a tree dog, a good-looking dog. I don't like a big dog. He's a little on the bigger side, but that's the only thing I have against him.
This pup that I have here now, he's not going to be a big dog, and I like that. I'm glad that he was kind of the run of the litter, but boy, he's built nice and But when I go up to Randy's up there and hunt with him, the thing of it is, it's such a pleasurable hunt because you mentioned about dogs. You don't have dogs running junk. I don't remember ever. I think we did have a young dog one time tree a possum. But other than that, I mean, it's just pleasurable to hunt. And and I'm not a salesman for Lone Pine Kennels. I mean, Randy, he doesn't need my help because he can sell all that he can raise. But I just like to go. I mean, good mouths, go hunting really good, and of course, since we've got these Garmins now, and you got the drive track or whatever sitting right there on the dash, and you're side by side, and you can see what that dog's doing all the time, and they go hunting good, and man, tree dogs, if you love a tree dog, they just have such good mouths, and he just seems to come up with, one after the other, and they're not all out of the same stud dog. So it's just a real pleasurable time for me to get to go at my age, to be able to hunt with good dogs like that. And we've got a good plot dog there in North Carolina. But that's mountains, man, and that's rough, and that's just beyond my, as we used to say, my pay grade anymore to try to, hunt those steep hills. Of course, Randy's got some little hills, you go up down some steep banks and stuff, and I have to be careful about that.
My hunting right here is about like what he's got up there, not too much. But he could go to the east or west of him where he lives and take you over. I assume all this is on tape, so I ain't going to say the name of the town because there'll be 600 hunters up there tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he knows where I'm talking about.
Well, he's taken me over west before to some real nice hunting.
Every farmer wants you to hunt there. Nobody will refuse you. They want you to kill them all, and if they hear you ain't killing them, we don't do it though. But it gets them teed off and that. But it's good hunting now. You can treat. That's the kind of place you can go and treat 12, 14 coon a night.
Oh yeah.
You ain't going to do it often.
No, and you're not going to do it right there around his house either. But there's coon. You're always going to tree coon when you go. But you're not going to tree sled loads of them. Well, listen. What about this? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I used to catch guys that come from Ohio and sleep in they were in automobiles. They'd sleep in their automobiles. They did have a license. They bought a non-resident license. And that's when coons were worth something. And they'd stay there Friday night, Saturday night, and go home Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah.
And kill as many coons as they could up there because the coon were there and the farmers wanted them out of there. Terrific hunting. I used to go up there every year during kill season for at least 2 weekends, and it's completely different hunting than what I got right here at the house.
I imagine. Years ago, our club in West Virginia used to order buy coons for restocking from Paul Hunter in Meadville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Where's Meadville
I could
from
tell you
where you
stories.
live?
I could tell you stories there.
Okay.
I think Paul's deceased now. I'm not sure. It'd be well up in the years if he's still living.
Mm-hmm.
He sold the coons all over the country.
Yeah.
Tennessee, West Virginia. I had another guy up here, Chuck Bailey, did the same thing. Chuck didn't want to spend the money for a dog, what a good dog's worth, but he'd trade coons for dogs down off of James Bruce at Pokey Bill.
Yeah,
And he'd take down 50 to 75 coons in his truck and sell them to James's Coon Club down there.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked James Bruce, I says, did you ever ear tie them coons or what did you do? He said, Fred, every one we ear tied. He says each club member would get about 5 coon a member. And they could take them to any woods they hunt in or want to and turn them loose, whatever they want to do. I says, of all the ones you tied, how many coon did your club members get? He says, this is the truth. He says, in 3 years, we got 1 coon that we ear tied. 1 coon. And it was caught 28 miles from where they turned it loose at.
Yeah, they won't.
Here's my deal on coons, because a coon is like a bear. They'll do their damnedest to get back to where they originally was raised. You catch them, earmark them, or put a tag in them, or spray paint their tails, and you turn that coon loose. I treed the same coon 4 nights in a row in the woods I turned him loose at. And the next night, the 5th night, he was laying dead on the road. He got hit by a car. He was a real yellow coon. I didn't have to mark him. You could tell him right away. But
well, that's a chapter in my life that I remember very well when I came back home from the military and lived in West Virginia.
Did your coon stay?
Not so well. We had more problems with them even surviving. We found the Florida coon couldn't survive up there, and the winters were too harsh. But we got them out of West Texas, Brownwood, Texas, a fellow named Brandstetter. We used to order from him, and they were big old long-legged, rangy coons and run like a fox. And they did better. They were more hardy. But we kept trying to get the Department of Natural Resources to let us go up into the eastern counties, Hardy and Randolph up that way, where those farmers were, like you say, they were being clobbered by the coons, and let us, trap those and bring them back down. They'd be, native coon. They'd be in West Virginia. Never could get them to cooperate with us that way. Makes you wonder.
Here's what I had happen one time. In fact, it's the same woods I was in last night. There's a barn there the farmer has at the end of his property, and coons live in there. I put coons in there a number of times. I just go in the barn, get my dog, and get out of there. He came to my house one day, and he said, why don't you get a trap and catch them coons in them traps and take them elsewhere and turn them loose? I said, I'll give you a trap, and every one you get, you just bring it down, put it by the garage, and I know what to do with it. He caught, I don't know how many, I believe it, he told me it was 28 altogether that he brought down in a matter of a month or so. I took them coons and I spray painted their tails all the time. It used to last for a couple of weeks. I got 5 of them in his barn within a week. They had to swim a river to get back to where the barn was. Total distance, I'd say, was about 8 miles. But that shocked me that they were able to come even 8 miles.
I guess I didn't realize that.
And he says to me, he says, "You turn them loose in my yard." I says, "No, I ain't turn them loose in your yard." I told him where I was. I said, "You know where the DeVos Cemetery is?" Because I coon hunt there along the river. He says, "Yeah, I know where it's at." I said, "That's where I turned them loose at." He says to me, he says, "I'll be darned." He said, "I didn't think they'd come back that far." Well, they did. And like I say, I'm not saying they all came back, but a good many came back.
Yeah,
when
animals will migrate like that. We treated a bear one time in West Virginia, and it had a tattoo in its lip. And real quick, I'll tell you, the bear had been.
You're an old bear hunter. Listen to this. The game warden used to hunt with me, and he's no longer a game warden now, but he used to hunt with me. And he told me that he caught, about 2 years ago, he retired. And he told me that he got a bear in a live trap because it was near a school and they saw it 3 or 4 times. He set the trap for the bear and caught it. It was ear tagged, so that means another game warden had caught it at one time. He checked that bear was caught when it was 2 years old and it weighed 239 pounds. They took it 100 miles away and ear tagged it again and turned it loose. He caught it where it was originally caught when it was 2 years old. It was 7 years old now, and it weighed 475. And he caught it within a half a mile where it was caught 7 years before.
I'll be darned. Yeah, well, they go back, I guess, to their home territory. I know this. I don't know exactly where this one was, but it had been trapped as a yearling and a yearling, I think, and marked or tattooed at Cheat Bridge in West Virginia, and it was killed on what we call the Cold Knob area there, and it was 75 air miles. From point to point. Of course, that's through the mountains and all. But that's how far it had traveled. But I don't know where it was originally, whether Mama was from there and she took him up that, bears might go with the feed, wherever the mast is and the oak natural. And all that,
That's natural. So, last time I went to Charleston, West Virginia to meet a guy, I bought a dog off him. He was from Kentucky. I said, "I'll drive to Charleston." I seen 2 dead bear on 79. I was surprised. Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't get hit that often, but there was 2 dead ones on 79.
Yeah, well, the bear population has exploded all over the country. I saw something on the internet there the other day where somebody killed a 700-pound bear in New Jersey. I didn't realize all those years when you talk about New Jersey, I thought about Newark, maybe, concrete jungles, and all. But my wife, Ella, she is my second marriage, and I am for her as well. But we grew up in West Virginia. But she lived in New Jersey for many years, and there's some mountains in there. There's some ridges and timber.
He's bought dogs off me for 40 years, and he showed me pictures of a lot of bear over in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And they must have a good many. I think they don't have much of a season or something. But did you ever hear of a bear called Cookie?
No, I don't think so.
It made all the headlines everywhere. Killed a black bear in Pennsylvania in the Pocono Mountains. They have some kind of Girl Scout camp up there. And this bear would come in there all the time, and everybody would feed him cookies. And that's why they called him Cookie. Yeah. Well, a hunter, he didn't know that. He was doing everything legal, but he shot him. The bear was over 900 pounds. That is a monster. That's a monster for a black bear.
That's huge. Huge.
Well, it made the newspapers, television, everything. Everybody was giving that guy heck for killing that bear. He didn't know. So,
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm getting about 100 political advertisements an hour these days. Crazy, crazy. I wanted to ask you something about. What about your coon population right there? I mean, do you have it? Is it pretty easy to? You do pretty easy to strike a coon when you go?
Good population of coon.
Yeah, good.
There's no shortage anywhere. Not up here. Not all the woods I hunt.
Yeah.
And like I say, you can go out on an every day and you hunt from 7 till 11. You should treat 4 or 5 coon.
Oh yeah, well that's a good hunt anywhere right there. Well, Fred, I've enjoyed talking with you. I appreciate you catching up with me.
It's been a while since I heard from you. I thought maybe they carried you away or something.
Well, maybe blow away with these darn storms down here. We had 2 of them about 2 weeks apart. And I did a podcast on the people in Tennessee and North Carolina, have been so devastated by these storms. But you don't really think about it because it happens so much down here. But we've got people right here within a couple of miles of where I live that were, flooded out. And once the winds and all that went by and the storm surges, then about a week later, all these freshwater rivers start backing up and flooding, and they're still fighting that down here. I mean, the area where we hunt it's all underwater. I don't know if we'll even be able to hunt this winter or not.
Mike Short from South Carolina, Liberty, South Carolina. He called me about a week ago, and he told me how bad they got hit down there. And he was real good friends with Jimmy Carpenter.
Yeah.
And I said, how about your buddy Jimmy? I said, how's he doing? Because he's further south than you are. He said, I don't know. I have to give him a call and see if he's still above water.
Yeah.
He said, but Mike told me, he said he had no power for 3.5 days. And he said he didn't get much damage other than a lot of trees knocked down all over that area.
Well, this area where I live, all the power's underground. So you don't, we'll have some transformers that go out or something, but we don't get a lot of lines down and all, But I just had a lot of debris in the yard from the trees, little small limbs and stuff. We had some 80-mile-an-hour winds here this last one.
Oh,
and
don't need none of that.
No, that'll rattle the windows for sure. Well, Fred, I'm glad that you're still.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Hey, buddy, I'm gonna get back to you sooner. I always say this, but it's never soon enough. I always enjoy our talks.
And you tell Randy if you need to rent a coon dog while you're up here.
I'll tell him. I'll tell him that. And your buddy there, who is it? Who's your buddy, JJ?
Yeah. Good night, JJ. He ain't called me in a couple of weeks. Maybe I ain't his buddy anymore. I don't know.
You may need to check on him. All right.
His squirrel dog's getting old, and he's looking for his demise pretty soon. He's so worried. He'll have a funeral for that dog, I guarantee you. So.
Well, some of them get awful close to us, that's for sure. Well, folks, so we've been talking. Okay, Fred, we've been talking to Fred Moran, the Redbone Man. What a legacy in our sport. Fred, it's always great to talk to you. I hope to call you again soon. Folks, if you need anything, the hunting season's upon us, and that's the time of year we tend to buy things for ourselves and our hounds. Go to W Hunting Supply, dusupply.com. They will treat you right. They've got anything and everything that you need, and great customer service. Yes, sirree. And I also want to thank Alpha Dog Nutrition, our sponsor here, and I'm just getting ready to use some of those products on this new pup I've got. And I always want to thank Big Mark Zepp with Zepp Predator Calls, who helps us with our spins that we do online and also. Anyway, until next time, folks, this is Steve Fielder for Fred Moran, and we've gone to the dogs.
Thanks a lot, Steve. We'll see you.
See you, brother. Bye-bye.